let me give you guys a real hypothetical.
If the Bears take
Bears sign Mike McCarthy as their head coach,
will they sign Zeke?
Do you get on the phone and ask about Micah Parsons?
Yes.
Because he supposedly
I'm a
is
fan
in
of Micah
love with
Parsons.
Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Would you trade 10 for him?
For an established guy?
Well, you're going to have to pay Micah, remember. You have to
you're going to pay him. He's in the last year. This is his rookie year deal.
Take Tremaine Edmonds' money and pay him. I have no problem.
My initial...
It probably costs more than just one. Like, you'd probably have to give your first this year and then second or third or something down the line.
Oh, there's no way you're getting Micah Parsons for one draft pick.
10th pick.
That's
no way. Straight up.
That's it. Straight up.
No.
Hey, guys, don't tempt Ryan Poles with trading away draft picks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but this would be, I think this would be a good one,
tempt him.
I would...
Don't tempt him.
This would be good,
initial, like, with no real deep analytic thought, this is maybe a little fanboy of me. Just the football fan, the Bears fan of me more than anything, when Adam asks that question is, yes, I absolutely would. Micah Parsons is 26 years old. He has 52 and a half sacks in 63 career games.
That's pretty good.
He's one of, 3 best defensive players in football?
Yeah, what's his pressure rate, Carm?
I could get it for you.
Give me a pressure rate on that.
Give me a second.
Give me some stats on grass and some on turf. I want a little bit of both.
That's going to take a deeper breakdown.
Well, you dived there.
Okay,
right?
I can. Let me work.
Listen
on it
here,
for a minute,
Sonic. You jump into your little hole and you start diving. Get deep.
Also, I think first of all, I think this is very like pie in the sky, regardless of what he says publicly. And it sounds like he was, I don't know. At one point during the season, it sounds like he was taking shots at Mike McCarthy. Then he clarified that, said he wasn't, and then on his podcast, he said he was devastated that they lost Mike.
You can't pay everybody.
I don't know.
You can't pay everybody. Like the Cowboys. They got a lot of money that they're going to need to spend here soon. Someone's going to have to kick rocks.
And that's what he's saying, that Micah Parsons is going to have to kick rocks.
Well,
I
maybe
think going with a 10 off.
I don't know that you make that guy kick. I don't know that that's the guy. According to ESPN, now remember, he had a truncated season, okay?
Yep.
So like some of the sacks, he still had double-digit sacks, by the way. In 13 games, he had 12 sacks. According to ESPN's pass rush win rate statistic, out of all edge rushers in the NFL, Micah Parsons was third.
Okay.
Behind Daniil Hunter and Trey Hendrickson. I will get you the PFF numbers because they're slightly different.
Yeah.
Just give me a second.
Give me the PFF numbers. Some of the ones I'm really
So he was third, and he
in.
still had 12 sacks.
Not
in 13 games. Good.
Carm, while you look that up, here's Micah Parsons on his podcast talking about McCarthy. Here it is.
It's very, very interesting, man. Obviously very sad because the relationships, we had with Coach McCarthy and everything he's done for our program. 3 straight 12-5 seasons, playoff appearances, and obviously an unfortunate year due to injuries and things like that. But it is devastating. Coach Mike's a great father, coach, one of the most winningest coaches. And, he's always been good to us as a unit, us to coaches, players. So, losing a great coach like Mike hurts. But it's going to be very interesting offseason.
I agree. It'll be very interesting if the Bears try to make a move on him. Out of the first, 10th. And then you address your offensive line with your 39th and 41st pick.
You comfortable with that?
I don't mind.
It's an interesting hypothetical. Again, I think it's very pie in the sky. I can't see Dallas letting him get away. Now, if Jerry decides to go out and kind of sabotage this offseason again and wait forever and ever, I don't know why you would with a player like this.
You know what, though? Jerry might not have time to jack with us.
I ain't got time to jack.
Yeah, so if he ain't got time to jack with us, we may not be able to get a deal done with him. I got to see what the Bears are willing to do to cut the fat off of this football team. I got to see what the Bears are willing to do.
Where else could you save money, Jurko?
Well, you're going to save money on Keenan Allen. That's for sure. He's going to be gone. You're going to save money on Tremaine Edmonds. That's 100% for sure. Then you look at the rest of the top of the team. I don't know how much you want to go ahead and get rid of. You got to have somebody that's going to rush the pass. Right now, you only got Montez Sweat. That's it. You've got a eager Gervin Dexter, but it looks like he's starting to get bypassed by others that came out in his draft class.
A couple other things. By the way, he was also third in PFF's pass rush.
Okay.
Win rate grade.
No, wait, listen. He's a football player.
Here's the thing. Let me say
he's a ball player.
And again, like okay. the fan of me gets giddy a little bit when you say a name like that because of what he's accomplished and how good he's been. I also think back to the Khalil Mack trade, and not that it was Khalil Mack's fault. Khalil Mack was very good for the Bears, especially like the first year and a half he was here. How did trading 2 first-round picks for Khalil Mack work out? Again, that maybe is a little unfair.
Well,
I'm not blaming him, but when you trade multiple first-round picks,
it didn't result in a Super Bowl. So that's your ultimate test.
Didn't result in a playoff win.
Yeah, it didn't result in the Super Bowl. There you go. That's what it did not do.
I feel like if we always do this too, like when these big blockbusters happen, we look back, don't we isn't it like 9 times out of 10, the team acquiring the picks does better? I think that.
Well, in the Herschel Walker trade, absolutely 100%. Did Detroit do better? LA got the Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford. They got their Super Bowl, right?
That's true.
They won a Super Bowl.
And theoretically, they could get more.
Was it 2 first-round picks for Stafford? It was? Was it multiple first round?
Because they took the cap hit with Jared Goff.
That's what I was wondering.
That's why it was multiple first-round picks.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Okay. And again,
my point is that
I don't certainly, and I'm not blaming. Like I said, like Khalil Mack was good for about a year and a half till he slowed down a little because of an injury here, and he was a terrific player. He hinted at retirement. Khalil was a terrific player. Mike is even better, I think, to be honest.
My point is that there's not a Micah Parsons in this draft that you're going to be able to get.
Abdul Carter.
You're not getting him.
No, you're not getting.
He's going 2 or 3.
You're not going to get him, Carm.
Yeah, you're not.
And I don't know if there's.
I wouldn't say that. And Adam, I wouldn't say there's not one you're going to get.
Not one that we know of.
Jared Verse went like 17.
I understand that.
I mean,
I understand that.
The
but
good teams do this. I talked to you guys the other day about the last 2 Rams drafts. In the last 2 years, the Rams have drafted 4 defensive linemen in rounds 1 through 3 that have all turned out to be studs.
The Rams GM isn't doing our drafting. It's Ryan Poles, who's swung and missed more often than not. You get an established guy for that pick and a couple other picks in the future, and you know what you're getting, as opposed to, we saw the mock draft yesterday that I talked about, an Ohio State tackle that hasn't played this year.
Yeah, Josh Simmons.
That Lions trade, they received Goff, 2 first-round picks, and a 3rd-round pick.
You talk about a trade being a freaking bomb for both. A good bomb, like the Grand Salami bomb for both teams. I mean, how about that? Look at what has Detroit done with those, Chris? Can you see?
Yeah. You don't want to ask. Jahmyr Gibbs was from those picks. Then were also moved to the Cardinals at some point. So there are 3 players in a trade with the Cardinals that were from the picks that the Lions received.
Okay.
So here are the players: Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams, Josh Pascal, and Broderick Martin. Those are all players that came from the original trade.
How about 3 of those? Wow.
I mean, that's essentially the Lions' offensive core.
Minus Amon-Ra.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Has come
from that. The core of the skill position has come from it. Yes. Has come from that trade. And like Jurko said, Stafford helped them win a Super Bowl.
They did, absolutely.
So that's a home run.
Right.
So, and you could ask, and I think Jurko is correct in asking, who won that trade? Because I think you could suggest that the Rams, who also still are in contention,
right,
they won the Super Bowl.
Right. And they traded 2 first-round picks.
And they're back in it, right?
Yeah.
And it's unlikely that they win the Super Bowl this year, but they have a chance.
Yeah. Like the one thing I could hear fans screaming is that you don't know that you'd find a player as good as Micah Parsons at 10. And that's true, of course. But the idea of these cost control first-round picks where you get the 5th year, like they become so valuable for teams. And when you have that 5th year and you have control and you've got them when they're young, it's a really valuable thing. And I don't know that I have any faith that Ryan Poles and the Bears can do what the Rams have done. But as we documented on the show earlier this week, in the last 2 years, that group, that Les Snead and whatever other personnel people has with them, and Sean McVay and that coaching staff, and Chris Shula now, they have drafted Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Byron Young, and Kobe Turner. They're all studs. Every one of them can rush the passer.
Yes.
Every one of them is a stud.
Yep.
And so, like, it's. I don't know that I have the faith. I don't know that any Bear fan would have the faith that the Bears could do what the Rams did, but it is possible. You see teams in this league do it. And my want is like, no, when I step back and I think about it and I try to take a big picture approach, it's always to have the asset of the first round pick, the young cost control player, the player that sucks for the player, but you might as well take advantage of it. You get the 5th year out of. Which is crummy for these players. Don't get me wrong. That's a different conversation.
They negotiated it in, Carm. Don't feel sorry for them. It's
not that I feel sorry. I think it's a crummy, but they negotiated.
Their idiotic leadership decided that they fought for free agency forever.
Right.
And they decided to give a year back.
Crazy.
Idiots.
It's idiotic.
Idiots.
It is. Jurko's right. It's crazy. So I shouldn't feel bad for them.
Some of those idiots have names.
But I want that if I'm running the team. As great as Micah Parsons is, and there is no doubt and no debate that he is great. But now you're trading those valuable cost control picks for a player you're going to have to pay an obscene amount of money to.
But you also have to factor in who's doing the drafting. And I don't necessarily trust Ryan Poles to get this right ever. Look at his draft record. What has he gotten right? Besides, hopefully, Caleb and Rome.
Well, I think Kyler Gordon, he's gotten right.
Okay.
I think he's gotten Briscoe right.
Offensive linemen, his guys.
Well, that he hasn't done well.
I don't mind Darnell Wright. Darnell Wright's fine. The other stuff that he's traded for and just getting makeshift players and journeyman players in here because they think they can do. As an offensive lineman, you would think he would invest in offensive lineman. He doesn't value what he is. He doesn't value what he was in this league.
It's either that or he just has a blind spot for it for whatever reason.
I mean, you let Tevin Jenkins go, you're only getting $2.5 million back. Cairo Santos, you're paying him $4.5 million. Get rid of him.
I would. Absolutely.
If you can't kick a 60-yard field goal in this league nowadays, the way they do things now, if you can't kick you don't have the range to kick a 60-yarder, you're not here. 60 yards shouldn't even be a second thought.
No.
Yes, get my guy out there. He's kicking a 60-yarder. For the Bears, it's 54 in inclement weather. You can't go for a field goal. What are you paying him $4.5 million for? He's gone. Get rid of him. Get some Australian guys that can boot the living crap out of the ball. Maybe the punter will have a friend or two.
Yeah, maybe the punter knows somebody.
Hopefully.
What is the price tag for Justin Tucker going to be? Will it be more than $4.5 million? I'm crazy, right? It'll be more than that.
Justin Tucker.
Yeah, because Meller was
the kid, the kicker from Baltimore.
If they cut him loose, buy low on
Turn
Justin
me
Tucker,
loose. Yeah.
But he's not going to sign for, I don't know. That's a Meller question. Would he sign for $4 million somewhere or $3.5 million? Could the Bears save $1 million by swapping out
nobody's knocking on his door? No one's ringing the bell.
I'd be interested in that. Buy low.
Detroit found their kicker in the XFL?
And their punter was undrafted. And he was the all-pro.
Yeah.
See, Detroit does it right.
Well, yeah, of course, because Spielman's up there advising their people on what to do.
They're finding their kickers.
I hate kickers and punters.
Oh,
you should see Spielman's thoughts on these guys.
They're finding their kickers and punters via free agency in the XFL and Australia and Ireland, wherever else.
Right.
And they draft offensive linemen and stud wide receivers.
What are they getting paid for?
And tight ends.
Who are they paying?
The punter is the all-pro. He was an undrafted player. Did they really find the kicker in the XFL?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
They found. I don't know what they're paying him. I can't imagine.
He's kicking for the Michigan squad. They watched him kick a 60-yarder. If you can kick it in the XFL, guess what? You could still kick it in the NFL. You're a kicker.
Well, yes. I would hope that the Bears take a hard look at
what are they paying their guys? $600,000 each.
Which is probably
what you're supposed to be paying a punter and a kicker.
About it.
$600,000. Period. You're definitely not supposed to draft them.
No.
Definitely not. This guy's got 2 under his belt so far. Watch this full draft kicker.
No, he's not.
Watch him.
Not. There's no way.
I swear to God he will.
There's no way.
I swear to God
I'll bet you right now. There's no way. There's no
You could put that pick into a trade for Micah Parsons.
There's no way. Would you do it?
Yeah, I would do it. Yeah, I would do it in a second.
Would you do it? See, but that's the fan in you, I think. If you step back,
do it.
Adam,
Because I think that you're
falling in love with Micah Parsons. I get it. He's awesome.
I'm falling in love with this team because I know that Caleb's better than Trubisky. And you saying it not working out for Khalil Mack is, yes, The team wasn't great, but also Trubisky wasn't as good of a quarterback as what we think Caleb can be.
That's true.
And they completely ignored the other side of the line this year. And we're like, we'll be fine. Were you?
Yeah.
You weren't.
What'd you
Imagine sweating Parsons.
Would you do it, Chris?
How are they going to stop the run? That would be my question. If
Billings.
If Billings is ready to go, healthy, I think I would lean towards doing it, especially if we're, as a group, we're all leaning that Mike McCarthy is going to be the guy that gets this job. I think the floor will be raised pretty quickly, and I think going from a 5-win team to an 8 or 9-win team, I think is in the cards. And therefore, having a player like that who's an absolute game changer, maybe you actually get some good play out of Montez Sweat next season,
which I would think you would.
That seemed to kind of go away in this past year. So yeah, I think I would, based on whoever you get at 10. Micah Parsons is a better player than whoever you get at 10. He just is. Micah Parsons is
probably
one of the 3 best defensive players in the league.
Probably.
You got Watt. You have
Pass
Myles
rushers.
Garrett.
Yeah, amongst pass rushers, he's probably one of the 3 best.
Micah Parsons,
Yes,
right?
You're probably right.
And I'm not worried about paying him. You figure it out. All these teams figure it out.
I mean,
Everybody
2 weeks ago, Jurko had Jalen Johnson being traded. Boom, there's some money.
Yep. Well,
but they're not going to trade
Jalen. I think Jalen Johnson. No, who jumps this year? It's DJ Moore.
Goes up.
Jumps through the roof.
Because it's the new contract.
Yeah,
but I think Jurko's got it with the Edmonds money.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you're
the
going to
one.
save a lot of money.
No, you're
got
not
60
saving
million.
all that. There's some dead cap that you got to
I
carry.
understand
little bit,
but
not a lot. Not
you
a lot.
still got 60. What do they have? 65 in cap space?
They
this
have a
year?
lot. They have a lot of cap space.
Jake Bates makes $895,000.
That's the kicker.
Yeah, that's where they're
what's the
supposed
punter
to be.
make? The punter was the all pro.
Yeah, I'm not happy with they're paying the punter.
What are they paying him? He was all pro though.
$3.9 million.
Oh wow,
Not happy.
So he was undrafted though.
Gotta get rid of him.
Undrafted player. I'm not happy with the punter. They're paying their punter $4 schmil.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, he's the all pro, I guess.
More than
You know how
Sam
many times he punted?
They're paying him more than Sam Laporta.
Do you know how much? Well, of course, Sam Laporta's in his second year. You know how many times he punted?
How many?
45, fewest in the league. It's a lot of money to pay a guy you don't use
So
that
much,
much.
$100,000 a kick.
100,000.
Like 90 grand a kick.
The dead cap hit on Tremaine Edmonds is just over 13 mil.
No.
That sounds right. That absolutely sounds right. That's
Remember
what I
how
mean.
we were never going to believe dead cap hits anymore after they got out of Aaron Rodgers' contract?
Yeah. But that one seems accurate. I mean, so you're
The dead cap drops for 2026. So if they released him in 2026, it's only 2 mil.
but there is still some savings there though, right? Even carrying that dead money.
Yeah, his cap hit for 25 is 17.
So there's not a lot of savings there. Right, Yerk?
No. What about a June 1st release?
Yeah, does it say post June 1?
How about a post June 1 release?
I don't know it could be different that way. That's what's going to come into play. It sounds
That
like
would
with this
be nice.
Cousins thing, like how they're going to handle Cousins in Atlanta.
Yeah.